Okay, here in this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a table using Microsoft Excel Online. And a table is a convenient way to understand and manage large amounts of information. And a table is organized into rows called records. And a record is a table row that contains data about an object, a person, or another item. Now, records are composed of fields. Now, a field is the column in the table, and each field describes a characteristic of the record, such as a customer's last name or street address. Each field has a field name, which is a column label, such as address, that describes its contents. And tables usually have a header row, which is the first row, which contains the field names. So in order to help better to understand what a table is, we're going to take this worksheet down here that says practice, and we are going to put in a table that has 3 records in it. And it's going to have, about 6 or 7 fields in it. So what we're going to do is I want you to come up to cell A1, and I want you to type in the word tour. Then I can hit the tab key and type in the words depart date. Then I'm going to hit the tab key and type in number of days. Then hit the tab key. Then seat capacity. And hit the tab key and hit seats reserved. And hit the tab key and type in price. Hit the tab key. Air included. Hit the tab key. And then insurance included. And then at this point you can hit the enter key. And as you can see in this case, depending upon the settings of your computer, some of this text is cut off. So what we want to do is to come over here and to select all of these column headers for A through H. And then you should be able to double click on one of them, and it would automatically extend the width of the column so you could see it more. And you're probably going to have to do this again. That's okay. So now what I want you to do is I want you to come down here to cell A2, which we're already there in this case, and we need to type in the words Pacific Odyssey. And then I'm going to hit the tab key. Now these are the records that we're typing in. I want to go ahead and make column A wider so I can see this. So actually let me go ahead and stop. Again, this is going to be our first row, obviously, and this is going to be our header row, and the header row contains the names of the fields. And then down here are the records. Now the records we're going to have in this case, we're going to have a record for Pacific Odyssey, and then we're going to have a record, we can go ahead and do this. I want to type in Old Japan, and then I want to hit the enter key. I want to type in Costa Rica. So we have 3 records, one for Pacific Odyssey, one for Old Japan, and one for Costa Rica. And then we're going to go put in the rest of the information. So I want to come back up here to the Pacific Odyssey record, and I want to go under the depart date. And because I'm taking this from an old textbook, these days are going to be out of, they're going to be rather old from when you do this. So I'm going to put in 1, 12, 16, and then when I hit the tab key, it automatically formats that 16 as 2016. And it's got 14 days. Then I hit the tab key, then it's got 50 seat capacity. 40 of the seats have been reserved. The price is $22.55, and we'll format that here shortly. Air included is yes, so airfare is included, and insurance is included. No, travel insurance is not included. So then we're going to come down here to the record for Old Japan, and we're going to go under the depart date, and we're going to make this one 1/13/16. And then we're going to put in 21 for number of days, 47 for a seat capacity, 42 for seats reserved. $19.64 for a price. Airfare is included, and insurance is not included. So then when we put that in, and we want to come down to the record for Costa Rica, and we want to put in the dates for that. So January the 19th. All right, and then number of days for this one would be 10. The seat capacity is 31. 28 seats have been reserved. The price is $1,833. Airfare is included, as is insurance. So that's the data. Now, as of right now, this is just data that's in a table, and we couldn't easily find pieces of information that maybe we want to find. Now, here's something else you have to understand. Right now, this table has 3 records in it. What if it had 3,000 records in it? You could eyeball this and easily find out the number of days that an Old Japan tour lasts and what is its price. But again, what if you had 3,000 records that you needed to look through? You would want to have this table actually formatted as a table and also have the functionality of a table. So again, please remember, to be a table, not only does it need to look like a table, but it needs to have the functionality of a table, meaning you need to be able to filter out and find only certain pieces of information, and you need to be able to sort this data in a particular order. And that's what we're going to do here. So what we're going to do now is, if you click anywhere inside this data, we're going to actually turn it into a table so that it looks like a table and it has the functionality of a table. So if you come under the Home tab and then click Format as Table, you've got all these table styles that are available to you. And it really doesn't matter which one of these that you pick, but if you pick table style, medium, and if you're doing the online version of Excel, which obviously we are, you could come down here and really just pick any of them. It doesn't matter. And here, Excel can detect that the table has headers, and by default, Excel is going to ask you, it's probably going to assume that you have headers, and in most cases you are, so it's going to put a checkbox in there automatically. So then you would just click OK, and then your table is going to look like this. And again, you've got these filter buttons on here that allows you to filter out pieces of information and sort it and things of that nature. And the other thing you might want to do is, under this price field, you might want to you should be able to click on the column header for F and go under your number format group and format that as currency and no decimals. Okay? So some other things you could choose to do with this, just to make it a little bit easier to read, you may want to take these numbers right here, and even the dates, I guess you could, but you want to select these cells right here, columns C, D, and E, and align these in the center. And then you'd probably want to do the same thing for G and H. Select those column headers by clicking, holding, and dragging, and click the Align Center button. And the reason I'm not going to center the depart date is because, when you get into October, November, December, or if you have dates between the 1st and the 9th of the month, these might not all line up in the middle if they're at the left. So I'm just going to leave them as is. So, and down here at the price, we're going to leave those as is. And by the way, something else you could do is you could click on the row header for column 1, and you may have to click this Align Center button, because it may be that you want all of these labels to be aligned in the center. And I actually ended up clicking it 3 times because I had already centered some cells, and when I clicked it the first time, it only changed the alignment of some of the cells, and then the second time I clicked it, it formatted all of them and aligned them at the left, and then the third time that I clicked it, it actually aligned it in the center, which is where I wanted it. So again, there's no magic button that you can click one time. In some cases, you're going to have to click a button 2 or 3 times to make this look exactly the way that you want.